Curation, the gathering of content from multiple sources and putting it into a single space. It requires a lot of thought. It requires discernment. It requires selection. It requires analysis. And that's what we're exploring. We're exploring the pedagogy of curation in the activated classroom. And to support that, we are looking at Flipboard. Flipboard, which allows us to create a personal magazine. In the previous lesson, we looked at the application that runs on mobile devices. And in this lesson, we're going to look at the web app. So simply go to flipboard.com and you're presented with a screen like this. And obviously, as always, you just simply need to sign in. It's quite useful to sign up with Facebook because you can share your magazines, but obviously in a classroom environment, that may be a problem. But you can get your students to simply sign up without any social media links if you prefer. So do that, and I'll see you on the other side. Right, welcome to the other side. And there's just one more step to go, and that's to follow some initial topics. So your students, when they sign up, are going to need to follow some topics around whatever the content is that they are trying to curate. And it's going to give you some popular topics, adventure, travel, exercise, etc. But maybe you are history teacher, so maybe what they should do is they should search for history and find some keywords and magazines and articles related to that. So it pops up, and there's history, the American history, political history, ancient history, and so you need to choose at least 7 topics around whatever the theme is. So start to do that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. History of science sounds fun, 5. But you can go back and obviously you can pick out something more. So maybe you're specifically interested in World War II. So you could search specifically on that. And again, it'll pop up World War II, World War I. So maybe we want that one. And it tells us at the bottom, notice there's one more to go. And you could obviously, it's popping up maybe suggesting certain countries based on that. Maybe we'll take World War I as well. So when you've done that, it's all done. And at a later stage, we can obviously search more, we can add more, we can curate content from whatever search elements we put in through while we're reading the magazine. So this is just to get us going, and we just click done. Oh, here's our account, and it's pulling up some stories already. That's from Black History, and it's giving you some hints. Use the plus to collect stories into magazines. So we'll look at that shortly, and that's if you like stories and you want to sort of heart them or you want to share them. Right, so just rolling down, we're going to see a whole selection of stories around World War I, World War II, and around history. So, and it also tells you in each section, this is from world history, from World War II, etc., where it's from. And here it shows you some of the things, the topics that you are following. So, and it'll constantly give you more and more each day. There's updates, and or more than each day, keeps updating as it automatically goes and searches for content. But what we want to do is we want to start curating our own content. We want to bring content together and create our own magazines. So if you click on the little C up the top there, it's for my name, you can change this and edit this yourself. So it'd be quite a fun thing to get your students to alter this. The moment they can do that simply by clicking on signed in as, and wherever the name is, and they can change various settings. You'll see at the moment it's got your name, it's got the email that you used in, and various settings about your magazine. So those are just your basic settings. If you want to see what your profile looks like, your public profile, you click there. Okay, at the moment I haven't got any magazines and I don't have any followers, so that's just telling me what I have at the moment, or rather what I don't have at the moment. Right, so back to our magazine. If you want to upload a little icon for yourself, so you can have your own little image, you can quite easily do that. Just choose an image, and by clicking that little pencil, same, you can change your name here. What is quite useful, you might want to say something over here about what you are in general, because people follow you. People can follow either you or the magazines that you curate. So your students might actually attract people because they get quite interesting magazines. And this therefore brings in the other pedagogy that we have talked about in other parts of our course, and that's the pedagogy in our activated classroom of conversation. So say something that might encourage people. Okay, or whatever it is they like. Right, so What our students now need to do is create a magazine. And so we click New Magazine. So what is this magazine going to be on? Is it something specific? And maybe we're just going to keep it really generic at the moment, or it could be a specific subject, but let's put it on World War II. So they just put a little bit of detail. You'll notice there's an option here. The magazine can be either public or private, so that's up to you. And as I said, it is useful if it's public because you can get more people to actually look at your articles. And lastly, hit create. Right, so here we got our magazine. It doesn't have anything in it at the moment. If we click it, it's pretty empty. And so now we need to get some content that's going to be placed inside this magazine. So we want to add content. So what we want to do is get back to some of the articles that have automatically been found for us, and we can go through these and have a look at some of them. And so, that's interesting. Pick out any article, and any article that interests us, you go, I like that, and you can like it. You can leave a comment, get the students involved in making a discussion. This one's about the World War II Dam Busters pilot. Now you might want to now add this to your magazine. So we simply click flip this into, and then you choose your magazine. So you can create a new magazine if you want to have subcategories. This is a World War II story. We're going to put it into this magazine, and there is an opportunity also, which is very useful, for the student to also add a comment. And they just hit add. So it tells us we flipped that into our World War II magazine, and we can hit the X to go out and continue to read what other articles are being suggested around World War II. So we might say, well, that also looks quite interesting, and you can click it. You'll notice that besides actually reading it, if you don't, you might just look at it as from the summary. You can also flip it into your magazine straight from here. So you can then choose your magazine, make a comment or not, and hit add, and it's flipped in. So slowly but surely, the magazine is getting filled with interesting articles. So that's the first way of putting things down into the magazine, or adding articles to the magazine, is simply flipping articles from the stream of curated articles that Flipboard is already identified for you. So you can do that quite easily just by clicking the plus and flipping them into our magazine. So that's the first way. The second way is obviously content that is not being suggested by Flipboard, but content that the students have found possibly through Google. And so we want to have a look at how you can now do that and include that content into a magazine. So if we have a look at our magazine, we can see so far we have curated some content into the magazine that has come from what Flipboard has suggested. So we have got 3 articles at the moment, and those are the ones that we picked up from Flipboard. But what if we want to put articles in from other places on the web? Now, the best way to do that is to install Flipboard's little widget. This just makes it easy for you to easily add articles from anywhere else. So all you need to do is install this from flipboard.com. You will find it, and that can get installed onto your toolbar in any of your browsers, and then it makes it really easy for your students to flip articles. So let's say, for example, they've come across this BBC article, and they go, oh, that's interesting. It's got all the key events of World War II and how it all panned out. That looks like a real interesting summary. So maybe I would like to flip that. Just click the little flip button on the top of your toolbar, which you hopefully have now installed. And it pops up a thing showing you, well, that's the one that's going to be flipped into your magazine. Obviously, if you've got multiple magazines, it's going to give you an option as to tick which one you want to be flipped into. And then you can put a comment here, as I've showed you before. And then you basically just hit add. Right, so that's been flipped into our magazine. Maybe I found another article, same process. So any article you found, you simply just click the Flipboard icon on the top, and again, you can then add it, make a comment if you wish, into your magazine. So that's Flipboard, really simple, easy to use. All of our articles are going to appear, all of our magazines will appear here. And so Flipboard is a really easy way in which we can get our students to curate content. It's a great way for them to get involved in the activated classroom, to get involved in starting to think and discern as to what content should be included and what content should not be included. And just this process of curation is extremely powerful.